They were a model family in Middle Georgia.
When you look at the family, 2 girls, a little boy, you know, very influential, very wealthy family.
John and Doris Worrell, college sweethearts who ran a family-friendly amusement park in a tight-knit community that valued charity and church.
They all go to the country club after church and eat a big Sunday lunch together, and they were a very tight-knit family.
So when a teenage immigrant from Venezuela named Paula Yarberry is abandoned at their church's doorstep, homeless and helpless, the generous Worrells welcome her into their home.
My sister had a heart of gold, and she let Paula come over and stay. She said, come stay, you can sleep on our sofa. And Paula did. And at some point it transitioned from her staying on the sofa for a few nights to actually living with them.
And as the saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
I thought Paula was a wonderful, sweet person.
Did your opinion of her change?
My opinion of a lot of people in this case has changed. So yes, someone close to the family advised them not to allow her to live in the house, that would cause problems.
4 years pass and the homeless, undocumented immigrant becomes a pretty confident 19-year-old nannying the Worrells' children and working at the family amusement park. John and Doris's marriage, however, suffers a heartbreaking blow.
My sister did realize that he was having affairs with younger girls.
Your sister knew that he was having affairs with younger women?
Yes.
Then one hot September morning, everything changes. John, Doris, and Paula are cleaning the family amusement park when at 9:30 a.m., John leaves Doris and Paula alone for a trip to the local hardware store. At some point before 11:15, gunfire explodes at the amusement park. Within seconds, John's wife Doris lies dead in a pool of blood, shot once in the head, point blank.
I think that she covered her head up because I'd heard part of her finger was gone. She had her hand over her head and got shot, and took off part of her finger and went through her head.
But Paula, hearing gunfire, runs to hide, fearing for her safety.
She went and climbed in a tunnel and stayed there until John came home.
Hiding?
Yes, she was afraid.
The attack is both quick and brutal.
She was shot with a handgun, and there was blood all over the place.
The first theory that came out was that it was a gang retaliation. The sports park was a good hangout spot, and there were some folks with gang connections that went out there that caused some trouble. And John had asked them to leave, and they came back to exact revenge.
That theory had merit until Doris's sister tells detectives a shocker. One of the women John was having an affair with was young Paula.
Was Paula having an affair with John?
Yeah, I would call it an affair. You could tell by the looks in their eyes.
And it was a relationship they had apparently stopped trying to hide from Doris.
By this time, Doris has had it.
She's had it. She wants to leave. One of her friends suggested that she go home to Mama's house, and she said, no, if I go, then they will have won. She also said, you don't know what they'll do to me.
But John and Paula are hesitant to discuss their relationship with investigators.
John was originally cooperative at the beginning of the investigation, but as further investigative requests were made, he requested an attorney, and therefore we could not have any further contact with him.
I used to beg John to go to the GBI with me, and he wouldn't go. He said they were crooked and to stay away from them.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigations immediately put the heat on Paula.
Paula, she was an illegal alien. The paperwork from when she came into the country at age 5 was never completed, and she had overstayed her welcome in the U.S.
Facing deportation, she reveals more about Doris's death than she had previously told them.
Paula made statements that led agents to believe that she had more information about the death than she was willing to give the agents at the time of her deportation.
Doris Doris Wuerl was a church-going fixture in small-town Douglas, Georgia. And when she's executed at point blank, many whisper that her husband John and live-in teenage nanny Paula Yarbury may have something to do with it.
I do not think this was a random act of meanness at all. They were going to replace Doris in the family.
Investigators from the Georgia Bureau of Investigations questioned both. They learn John and Paula were having an affair, and when they discover Paula has been in the country illegally, they used the threat of deportation to get her to turn on John.
She was eating lunch with some of her friends, and the agents walked in and arrested her and took her away.
The 19-year-old starts to crack under pressure. In this letter from the district attorney, a bombshell. Paula tells detectives she knows more about Doris Wuerl's murder than she had previously told investigators. But when they try to nail her down on specifics, she suddenly clams up.
The Wuerl family tried to get her a bond.
But her bail is roadblocked by the Coffee County district attorney. He doesn't want her released, for good reason. In a letter opposing her bond, the DA claims Paula is withholding crucial information in a murder investigation and writing John Wuerl is the main suspect in the murder of his wife.
They have a pretty good idea and pretty solid theories on what happened, but it's circumstantial. They don't have any smoking gun, literally or figuratively, to bring the case to a conclusion.
Unwilling to implicate John and with no smoking gun evidence against her, Paula leaves Middle Georgia.
Paula was deported, and I believe Paula went back to Venezuela. She ended up in Costa Rica.
And John gets out of town too.
John packed the children up and moved down to Fernandina Beach, Florida.
While John cools his heels on the Florida shores, things heat up in Douglas. Stunningly, 2 arrests for Doris's murder send shockwaves through John's hometown.
Glidden Rodriguez and Brandon Cage were arrested on conspiracy to commit murder charges.
Glidden had actually worked for John and Doris for many years, and Doris had invited Glidden to her home and had shared holidays with him and meals.
The charge, conspiracy to commit murder, means they allegedly discussed plans for a murder, not that they actually pulled the trigger. It begs the question, planning Doris's murder with whom?
Investigators thought that they had information related to the murder, and of course by picking them up, they thought that might get them to speak, get them to talk a little bit, and they never said a word.
After nearly 5 weeks in custody, authorities released Rodriguez and Cage. And just like that, Doris Wuerl's murder grows cold.
They felt like there was insufficient evidence to move forward with the case.
With the heat off, John begins reconsidering his move to Florida.
John took the family dog and had him euthanized, then went and withdrew the children from school in the middle of the day and fled to Costa Rica.
Why Costa Rica?
That's a good question.
But not a surprising question. Remember, Paula was already in the Central American country. A new life and a reunion for Doris Wuerl's family.
There's a big guy in a red shirt coming out.
We tracked down the person of interest and main suspect, John and Paula, now living as husband and wife.
She is.
In fact, we found a local newspaper article written in Spanish that refers to the couple as parents to Doris's children. And they don't appreciate private investigators asking about their family.
Yeah, he's coming here. He's coming here. Hold on. She's going in her pocket. Tranquilo. Tranquilo.
Get away from there. Stay away from us. I want to call an attorney right now. Get away from us. I'm telling you right now. I'm calling the police and I'm calling an attorney. Get away from us.
Doing a cold case, John.
Again, John and Paula were unwilling to speak. In the meantime, Doris Wuerl's murder remains an unsolved homicide in Georgia.
I think if you could get people close to the investigation to speak, they would tell you that it is unprosecuted, not unsolved.
Why haven't the arrests been made? Where is the justice in it all?
We asked the Georgia Bureau of Investigations that question. They tell us there is only so much they can say. While Paula and John are selling ice in sunny Costa Rica, Doris Wuerl's homicide remains, quote, an ongoing investigation.
When we look at this picture, your sister is dead and she's moved into your sister's position and taken over your sister's family.
She's become my sister. It's like they just erased Doris.
20-year-old murder case in central Georgia could finally come to a close because of a former nanny who finally came forward. Authorities say that her cooperation helped lead to the arrest of a man who's now charged in the 2006 killing of his wife. Police arrested John Wuerl this week in Missouri after investigators say that he planned to have someone kill his wife Doris over fears that he'd lose custody of his children. Doris was shot and killed inside the family's business. For so many years, this case went cold until the nanny who once lived with the family gave key testimony. Authorities believe that Wuerl left the country after the murder with that nanny and the children. They lived in Costa Rica for years and raised the children as their own. Now other family members hope for a reunion after nearly 20 years.
It's not just me. It's my children. It's my husband. It's the cousins in the family. It's the everyone. We miss them. And if any of you are watching today, I would like to say, please come home.
Wuerl is now back in Georgia and being held without bond. The GBI says that this case is a powerful reminder that justice can still be served even decades later.
And while the road has been long and often frustrating, William never gave up. Justice delayed is still justice. And today we honor Doris and her loved ones with the long-awaited breakthrough.
Tonight, state and local investigators say they're on the edge of serving justice in a nearly 2 decades-old murder case. Police arrested John Wuerl Tuesday, accusing him of instigating his wife's murder in 2006. Carmen Brown sat in on today's news conference where investigators shared what led to his arrest.
Nearly 20 years have passed since someone shot and killed Doris Wuerl in her husband's sport park in Coffee County. He's now in jail, accused of orchestrating her murder, though it was revealed he was not at the park when it happened. So at first, investigators assumed it was a robbery gone wrong.
She was known as a loving and caring person by all who knew her. But that came to an end on September 20th, 2006.
Here's a photo presented by investigators of John appearing distraught the day of his wife's murder. Investigators later learned John Wuerl was having a romantic relationship with the family's live-in nanny, Paula Yarberry. They say John feared losing custody of their 3 children in a divorce and planned to recruit someone to murder Doris.
When John lost the sympathy of the community and the investigation began to highlight him, he did what murderers do. He ran.
Investigators revealed John later left Georgia, first to Florida, then to Costa Rica, where he reunited with their nanny. They became a couple and raised Doris's children as their own. During this time, 2 men were arrested for conspiracy, but charges were dropped for lack of evidence. The case went cold, but investigators never stopped.
Justice must always be pursued, no matter how much time has passed.
A new GBI agent picked up the case. Investigators tracked down Paula Yarberry, who's not a person of interest.
This moment is a testament to the strength of teamwork and preservation.
Now with another arrest, Doris's family still waiting for closure, hoping her children will come home.
Coffee County Sheriff Fred Cole says a judge denied John Wuerl bond.